Okay, people, this is January 9th, 2017. I'm up by the walnut trees. You can see there's the black walnut, and there's the old English walnut, and there's the apple tree right there. Okay, and we've got the fern, or a Douglas fir, I should say, and then we've got the acorns over here. We've got another black walnut over there. Anyway, what I'm doing, people, is I'm looking for a dad. As strange as it sounds, Andre and I, the other day, we came to feed the squirrels, only we fed them a little over there, more towards the street, and my little grandson found a cell phone, and it was like half buried in the snow. Anyway, brought the cell phone home. I threw it on my desk. It sat there for a while. A couple, 2, 3, I think it was about 3 days or something like that. And, what do you call it? I don't know, my grandson gave it to my son, and my son, I guess, turned it on, and it turned on. I was surprised because the thing was wet when I found it. Well, I didn't find it, my grandson found it. And so anyway, I said, oh, well, see if you can find the owner, right? So that we can phone them back, or find a number that we can phone, you know, so we can get the phone back to the owner. Long story short, people, it was logged on, the phone was still logged on to Facebook, and then my son managed to get the name, so I went on to Facebook, and I left a message, and then because there was another person connected to that, I left a message with the other person. Turns out the other person is the son of the owner of the phone. Only thing is, he's in Alberta. And he hasn't seen his dad for a while, and he hasn't spoken to him since Christmas. And I'm like, well, what do I do with this phone? Do I, like, put a post up, maybe up by the homeless shelter? You know, considering where I found it, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or should I hand it to the police? Or, you know, he's saying, well, send it to me, to Alberta. I'm like, well, it's getting a little complicated here, you know? So anyway, I told him, I left him a little message, you know, I'm kind of sensitive to this stuff, people, because, you know, this is the kind of weather that homeless people are having to deal with, right? It's been like this for over a month. It's like freezing freaking cold. It goes anywhere between 10 below to 20 below Fahrenheit, zero, like between zero, like below 0 Fahrenheit, right? And it's cold right now, and, you know, it melted it a bit, but we've had up to 2 feet worth of snow. Like I said, this is like Alberta weather. So I left a message to the young person there, just saying that I'd come out to the field here and just kind of maybe look around, right? Just see if we can see something. It doesn't look like I can see too much. I'm going to go over there, just, you know, I'm looking for a camp, you know. I don't know where Dad is. So anyway, obviously, you know, his son is important to him because on the phone, first contact was his son. So I'm doing this out of respect to the dad, and I already told the son that I was going to do a little video, so hold on a minute. Okay, so as you can see, not much down this way, right? A lot of raccoon paw prints. Right? That's all it seems to be. Hold on. See, if I was a tracker in the snow, the only footprints I'm going to find here are my feet and little paw prints. Raccoons, so I'm going to go feed these acorns up by the walnut tree. Hold on. There's a human's footprint. Right there, you can see somebody's foot. And little raccoons. Okay, my hands are freezing already, and I haven't even been out here very long. Anyway, there was a path of footprints that went over there. I checked over there. I'm going to just walk through there a little bit. I put a whole bunch of these acorns in here. You can see, put them up over there, and I put them up over there. So hold on, my hands are freezing. Okay, so right up in there, people. It's like right up in here somewhere. Up in here. Why would this cell phone be half in and half out of the snow? Seriously. You tell me, don't you think that's kind of odd? I'm on the road. That's how you get in there, right? It was right up in there. Right up in there somewhere. Half buried. Why? Okay, people, I'm back. I tell you, it's freaking cold out there. This is the cell phone. I'll show it to you. Okay? Because I like to try and do the right thing, you know? I don't know about young people anymore these days, though, you know. You just, like, I've been told, just toss it. Just throw it away. And I'm like, no. Obviously, it turned on. You know, it belongs to somebody. Even if it didn't turn on, why toss it? Like, you know, this costs money. Oh, it's only an $80 phone. No, it has something in there of value to somebody, right? It's like a lost and found. So this is the cell phone, right? You can see it. The battery died on it. I don't use cell phones, people, so I don't even know. Oh, there you go. It turned on. Well, it turned off again. Because I guess the battery is like going low on it or something, right? So anyway, there, you see, you can see, right? It's telling you to plug it in. So anyway, this thing works. Like I said, my son did get it going there for about 5 minutes before it started doing that, and came up with a couple names, and I Facebooked them. And one person responded back, said it belongs to his dad. He's kind of worried about him now, and so am I. That's why I was trampling out there, right? Because it's been pretty harsh out here. I think the only thing that this weather is good for, people, oh, it's so blurry. I can't see nothing. Oh, I swear I'm losing my eyesight. Is the pine beetle up in the mountains there, like in the interior of BC. I hope that this weather kills them off and saves the province millions of dollars and you know and restores our natural resource back to its pristine state by killing off these bugs that burrow into the wood up in the interior and, you know, eats the wood to the point where the tree dies, right? So anyway, it's pretty cold out there, people. I don't know. I really don't know how homeless people have been managing. There are people still in tents and whatnot. It's been like really, really, really cold. So I'm still working on the nonprofit. Obviously not as much because I'm doing other paperwork, right? As we can tell, right? And I'm not going to drop the ball on that, as I said in a previous video. But this was kind of like, just kind of came my way. It was my little grandson who found it. It was half in, half out the snow. It was wet when I brought it home. It sat on my desk for about 3 days or whatever it was. And then my little grandson took it to my son. And I guess it turned on. And you know the story, right? So I went out there just to kind of take a little look around. Because you never know, right? There's people still in tents or whatever. Not to say that Dad is homeless. But in this day and age, people, anybody can be homeless these days. You know, we're all not far from it, unless of course, you know, we're sitting on a nest egg that we developed over a period of years when the economy was good, you know, when there was good paying jobs. And you know, it's like Uncle John said, back in the day when he was younger, he could quit a job today and have a job tomorrow, and a good paying job, right? It wasn't just, you know, and it's not like that anymore, right? So, you know, a lot of people are discouraged because I said to my son, like, why do people say, oh, just toss it, like, just, you know, and you know, versus like with the old school, you know, I'm not saying that young people don't have morality, because they do, but they just don't seem to care as much as when I was younger, you know. Now, mind you, people have been going through a lot of stuff, and, you know, they're getting dumped on, and, you know, they're getting shortchanged, and, you know, and there are a lot of posturing and just a lot of stuff going on where I could see why it would chip away at, you know, the general morality of society. But at the end of the day, you know, it's like little things like this, right? It belongs to somebody. It obviously works. It was logged on to Facebook, so it you know, I mean, it's saying something, right? It contacted the son on Facebook. Now I have to put it in the mail, more than likely, and send it to Alberta, right? It's either that or the cop shop, or put a sign up at the front room to see if somebody can reclaim this. Just because of where I found it and how it was found, and, you know, just the mystery around it. Like, there's a lot of mystery around this thing. So, but, you know, if I was a dad and I lost my phone and, you know, I disappeared or whatever, and the number one person on that phone was my son, I'd want my son to get it, right? You know, before the person who found it give it to the cops, give it to the son, because the son can always report the dad missing if the dad doesn't show up, because I'm kind of concerned about this weather, right? And just with the general politics of the city of Surrey and how they treat the most disenfranchised of all, right? In terms of, well, you know, you're on your own, just, you know, and with this, you know, crises with fentanyl, you know, in illicit drugs that are floating around out there in the streets, and people dropping like flies, you know, all over the mainland, like seriously, you know, 23 in a weekend, 10 out here, 23 in Vancouver, a whole bunch more over there, and a whole bunch, and it's not just happening once to these people, it's happening over and over and over again, because, you know, there's something going on. Some people say it's Asian gangs just trying to make a quick buck. Some people are saying it's the we won't peg no particular politician, but it's something within the political system trying to, you know, it's like culling the population, where, you know, the most disenfranchised of them all, right? The ones that are homeless and get the inadequate health care and have the least amount of resources and no income. You know, this is just adding in this little drug is just a means to get rid of them off the streets so that, you know, corporations and big business and developers can move in and start building their high rises and their condos without having to invest into the people. I tend to lean more towards that direction than I do about Asian gangs, because it doesn't benefit the Asian gang to kill off everybody unless, of course, they know that a new young generation of drug addicts is moving up the ranks real fast. But it does benefit political bodies to have less dependent people on the system. And what better way to get rid of them than to have them OD on something that you would least expect in terms of the amount, right? Because I've been told that like $10 can kill you. $10 of something out there on the streets can kill you, literally kill you. And it has. And sometimes emergency is there to help them to revive back to being alive, because the heart stops, the brain starts to die, you know, unless you start doing something. And some people don't make it, right? It's been almost double in terms of the overdoses of deaths in the province of British Columbia in the year 2016. So I don't take this phone lightly. I'm not saying Dad is struggling with addiction. I'm just saying that under the circumstances, the way the phone was found and where it was found, and just the political atmosphere in terms of how, you know, the people that are elected to represent us as a whole are failing in areas of dire need, right, in terms of adequate shelter. Because I'll say it again, this one little one over here is an emergency ward. I wouldn't even consider it a shelter. There needs to be some serious cash infusion into that place, or they need to build a new place that's bigger and better. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that, because I got other things to do in terms of paperwork, and I've got some things I have to get ready for the mail to go to the States. I'm sending one package to Florida, and I'm sending another package to Ohio. President Obama has to wait for his, because I just don't have the money to send to his, because that's a bigger box, right? And then now we've got this one. So I've got 3 things, this one going to Alberta and 2 going to the States. So I have 3 things that I have to work on this week to get out in the mail. So, and some other paperwork that I'm working on. So, Dad, if you come across my video, call your son.